Hey everybody, this is going to be a little bit of a different review than normal, and this is going to be which of these movies was the worst. So I watched 3 movies recently, all of them 2.5 or lower on my star meter, which means I would not recommend them unless you're just really a hearty soul. I will give very quick thumbnail reviews just to tell you why I thought they were bad movies, and then we will finish by figuring out which one was the worst of the lot. Okay, so here are the 3 movies. The first one is Don Verdean. I believe it's on Netflix, and it is from 2015. It's got a great cast. It's got Sam Rockwell, Will Forte, Danny McBride, Jermaine Clement, and a whole bunch of other people. What makes this a terrible movie? Well, it is trying to be a religious satire, and the idea itself is potentially something that could be good. You've got kind of this charlatan character played by Sam Rockwell, which is Don Verdean, who goes out and fakes religious antiquities. Kind of an Indiana Jones, Christian Indiana Jones type guy is how he kind of portrays himself. And then he goes and kind of tries to sell these fake artifacts. The problem is, well, as you can tell, it's hard to pull off religious satire. It's a very fine line you have to ride there. Unfortunately, this goes very broad a lot of the times. The jokes aren't very funny, and then it tries to wildly switch its tones and become heartfelt and touching. And the characters themselves, you don't know if you're supposed to believe that they are actually believing what they're doing, or if they are fully fakers, fully con people. So it doesn't really give you a good standing to go from, and it's just not funny. And it's very borderline offensive to religious people or anybody, really. So that's not helpful either. I mean, those kind of, the offensiveness could be accepted if the comedy was really good and the satire was really biting. Then offensiveness is kind of part of the pie if you're doing a really good satire, because you're making fun of something. But this is not a good satire. Okay, the second one is Extremity. This is a low-budget horror movie. It's currently on, I think it's about the same time. I think it's about 2015, maybe 2017. I have to go back and check. It's fairly recent, and it is on Shudder currently. Once again, the concept is something that has kind of been done last year. There was actually quite a good little horror movie called I want to say Haunt, and it was kind of about these extreme haunts, and that one was actually really good. This is going along a similar line. Have a woman who goes to an extreme haunt, and she's battling some personal demons of depression and some mental illness and stuff like that, family stuff that has gone on and abuse, and she's trying to kind of, conquer her demons by going to this extreme haunt and surviving it. What doesn't make it so good is the haunt itself isn't really that scary, especially if you've seen documentaries like Haunters, or you've seen anything about places like McCamey Manor, which is an infamous real-life extreme haunt in the United States that's got a lot of controversy around how it is actually psychologically and physically dangerous and possibly run by a maniac. Probably more interesting to go look into the movie Haunters to find out about real-life extreme haunts if you haven't experienced anything in that realm. Anyway, this movie, Extremity, follows the woman and another guy who have gone into this extreme haunt and what's going on with them. It's just not very well done. It's not very scary. You don't really buy it. And then they try to combine that with some real life abuse stuff with her and what she's dealing with. And then there's a big twist towards the end, which is absolutely unbelievable. So it's just kind of a mess all the way through. Definitely not worth your time. And I'm a horror fan, so I'm willing to give these kind of things a lot more leeway. And for me, it wasn't really worth my time either. So that's the second one. Now, the third one, this should be easy to figure out this was not a good movie, but sometimes I like to, give a cheesy, big, bloated, action movie a chance. Sometimes they're fun. Recently I saw Angel Has Fallen, and I had some fun with that movie. Last year, the John Wick movies are these big action movies, but once again, they can be a lot of fun. You kind of turn your brain off. You just enjoy the crazy set pieces, and they have kind of an energy and a style that if you kind of are tendency towards those kind of things, you could turn your brain off and really enjoy them. Well, I gave a chance to Rambo Last Blood. Okay, well, there's not really much reason to tell you that it's not a great movie. The one thing I'll tell you, if you haven't experienced it or have even an interest slightly to experience it, Rambo Last Blood, it's less like the other Rambo movies and more like a Taken movie, with Rambo playing the part of, the Taken dad, the special set of skills and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of things that are just ludicrous about this movie. So, the best of the three was Extremity, which I gave 2.5 stars to. Oh, by the way, Rambo is available on Amazon Prime. Just so if you want to see it, that's where it's at. Okay, I gave Extremity the best rating, 2.5, because it was competent. It just was pretty ludicrous and not really great at what it was trying to do. But it kind of did what it was trying to do. I mean, I could see some people that like this kind of stuff getting a moderate amount of enjoyment out of it. It kind of fulfilled its duty. Okay, so it's really between Rambo Last Blood and Don Verdean, sorry. They both got 2 stars, so one of them's worse for some reason. And for me, it's Rambo Last Blood. Now why? Why is Rambo Last Blood the worst of those 3? I mean, obviously it's probably not going to be a great movie. It's not that because it's dumb. It's not because it's a big action movie. It's not because, Sylvester Stallone's getting too old for this kind of thing and he kind of looks weird and overly tanned and I don't know, he's still getting, injections of steroids or something at his age and it makes him look kind of bloated and weird, which is all true. Surprisingly, his acting in this movie is decent. I mean, it's what you need for a movie like this. He's believable in his character. It's just that it's so distasteful and mean. It wants you to hate the bad guys, and it wants you to want him to get revenge on them, but it does it in a way that is unnecessarily mean because it just wants you to hate them. And it's very manipulative, and it's distasteful. For me, it felt like the kind of things you would get in the Death Wish movies, and that should give you enough of a clue to know what you're getting into with there. So, and I just don't like those kind of movies at all. So for me, of the 3, Rambo Last Blood is the stinker. All right, well, back with hopefully some better movies next time. Talk to you guys soon.